Well, hey everybody, it's Chris DeFirio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break. Today's episode is brought to you by the good folks over at La Marzocco Espresso Machines. They have been making espresso machines for nearly 100 years by hand in Florence, Italy, and they have been the cornerstone of coffee shops for quite a while. It's a household name because their machines forever have been known for dependability. They're really workhorses, so you can depend on them. So that's like the best thing about them, right? But there's more. There is the beauty of their espresso machines and also innovation that helps the function of your coffee bar. KB90 espresso machine has those straight in locking portafilters for ergonomics. You've got the Leva espresso machine for pulling a shot of espresso, that kind of an old school feel. And then you have the Linea Classic. And then one of my personal favorites is the Linea PB. Like the Linea, except it has a lot of those really techie features that baristas love to control the extraction to the nth degree. And so whether it's really traditional or technologically advanced, they'll help you find the right espresso machine for your coffee bar. All you have to do is email info@lamarzocousa.com and then check out their website, lamarzocousa.com. So another sponsor today that we are talking about is Rattleware. So I kind of think I could reach for something in my desk and find Rattleware because they're everywhere and they're behind the scenes. They're everywhere and they're nowhere. They love being the company that you rely on to support the stuff that people see all the time. The tools that your baristas use, the pitchers, the whisks, the knock boxes, all of these things form the structure of your business in the smallwares so that you can do that work of serving your customers coffee. And so you need the smallwares that just work. That's what they love doing at Rattleware. So rattleware.com is where you can go to peruse their vast array of offerings. No doubt you're going to find something that really is solid and functional and thrilling because it works. Again, if you're looking for smallwares that just work, go to rattleware.com. Now, I wanted to talk to you today about customers being judges. And I was reminded of this comment as I was thinking about, well, competitions. What do we talk about when we talk about competitions? You've got to impress the judges. The judges are the ones who put the scores on the paper, and you either get a trophy or you don't get a trophy. You either get invited to, do a bunch of cuppings around the world and whatever else, World Barista Champions do these days. Sponsors, line up and throw things at you. It all boils down to the score sheets, and the score sheets are assessed. They're filled out by the judges. And so in the competitions, when I used to be in competition in the ancient days, back in my heyday of 2007, the pinnacle of my competition career, I remember people talking about how, well, every customer is a judge. Now, sometimes I think we do forget that. We forget that the customer does have the final say as to whether or not what you have served them is worth buying again. And a lot of the stuff that we kind of wring our hands about in coffee sometimes is brought about because we're not actually trying to please the customer. We're trying to please our curiosity. We're trying to please our peers, but we're not really trying to please the customer as much. And we forget that the customer is a judge. And if we were really competing for their good opinion about what we offer them, then if everyone did that, it would transform the industry. Think about all of the hours and hours, literal blood, sweat, and tears going into these basement routines over and over again. We've got to impress the judges. They're going to use this score sheet. These are the things they value. They want to see this. And if you look like that, they're going to think this, and they're not going to score you as high. And if you do that with the coffee, they value this taste in coffee. And so you get the idea. You get really zeroed in. Why? Because the championship is on the line. And if you truly believe that every customer is a judge, then you will act as though the championship is on the line in the way that you read the reviews of your business, the face of the customer who may or may not be enjoying their time in your coffee shop. You will dial in your awareness and develop a certain kind of way of operating that prioritizes the thorough and as complete as possible enjoyment of the coffee experience for your customers, because every customer is a judge. But not only that, unlike the judges of the World Barista Championships, the judges in your coffee shop, the customers, they talk to a lot of people about you, right? It's not like the people who judge can go out and ruin your business necessarily in a competition, but somebody who has a bad experience in your coffee shop, they will tell tons of people, way more people, about the bad experience than they will the good experience. And you may think of it as fair or unfair, and customers are so this, that, and the other thing, and ooh, it's us versus them kind of. And there's this feeling like we need to fight against the ignorance of the customer. And we get that when we talk about educating the customer, right? But even the most educational moment on the stage at the World Barista Championships has still been based on a foundation of playing the game according to the rules set up by the committees, the score sheets, and what the judges are looking for. There's room for that innovation within those specs, and you can push the envelope, but you actually have to have something in the envelope too. Okay. Can't just be empty and say, well, I have this new machine I wanted to show you, but then the coffee doesn't actually taste good. The milk is not, evenly foamed across all of your milk beverages. There's a lot of things that you need to be thinking about that are traditional. Oh, boring, traditional stuff. But those things are the foundation on which you do get to do what you might consider fun stuff. But it doesn't happen in reverse. You can't build your business only on that weird novel thing. You've got to think about, what does the customer want? It's still a relevant question. This is why back in the day when we did a run, I think it was from 2012 to 2015 or so, of the America's Best Coffee House competitions at Coffee Fest, one of a kind competition. It lasted like 45 minutes or so. We had full opening shifts, full closing shifts, live rounds of, like, it was 30 minutes or so of live coffee bar with customer judges from the show floor that we lined up, and they ordered from an actual menu, and a 3-person team on the show floor. We shipped this coffee bar and rebuilt it every Coffee Fest to run this thing. It's pretty amazing. And the cool thing was that every customer got served, but they never knew when they were serving the judges, because what we did was we said, we're going to pick randomly people out of the audience, and we're going to have them order a specific drink. That's how we're going to taste the menu as judges. So while they still had some weight in their tickets as individual customers, the weight of our opinion as judges, of course, was weighted a little heavier. And the competitors never knew when the next person they were serving was going to drink that drink themselves or bring that drink to a judge. And so they had to treat every customer as a judge, you see. And so I thought that was a beautiful part of the competition, kept people honest, and things got wild sometimes, but it was fun. So in your coffee bar, this is what I would like you to cultivate. If you're not already thinking about this in terms of competition, just think of this as winning over the hearts and minds of your community by focusing on how you can best serve the things that will make them happiest as a result of having purchased from your cafe and sat and enjoyed. Like, what does that look like? If you were going to fill out a score sheet for that experience and then judge yourself and how you delivered, what would you get? Now, what would the customer give you? Now let's reconcile those things. Where's the mismatch here? You thought you did a good job, but the customer was a little bit peeved at some dysfunctional aspect of it. Now you could make an excuse or you could fix it. And I think if we took that road a little bit more often and used our energy to innovate in that direction, then we're going to have a different industry on our hands, a more resilient industry. regardless of price hikes and other things. The independent coffee shop operator and owner can be more nimble and agile and lean in harder to these relationships than any other company can. And so let's do that. Okay. Every customer is a judge, and this is our opportunity to win that championship every day. So I hope that this was helpful. And as always, I'm open to hearing your thoughts. So if you want to get on Instagram and post something under the reel for this, or comment on the YouTube video, please do so. Love to hear some conversation around this. And you can reach out to me, chris@keystotheshop.com. We are also starting our key holder coaching groups very soon, new rounds with new members. That could be you. If you're a coffee shop owner, you want to explore that, go ahead and check the link in the show notes, or just email chris@keystotheshop.com. Okay, thanks everyone, and we'll see you here next week for another edition of Shift Break, from Keys to the Shop.